Nor do I expect Democrats to apologize for trying to undo his presidency by all legal and extra legal means after that.
Come on, Brad. Come on.
No, Jim, look at our own polling.
Views on Donald Trump and his responsibility for January 6th have changed, including how people feel he should be perceived politically. Yes?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
I mean, it doesn't exist.
I'm not painting anything. I'm painting. Stop talking. That's what I'm painting.
4 years ago, Trump cheered on a mob as they desecrated our Capitol and hunted then Vice President Mike Pence through the Capitol grounds, chanting for him to be hanged because he refused Trump's demand to go along with a plot to overturn the election. And today, CNN hanged their chances at ever being relevant again by desecrating the media landscape in an utterly embarrassing yet completely expected display of everything that is wrong with the mainstream media via their horrendous coverage of that National Day of Infamy. And y'all, it wasn't even just one segment where they let a MAGA maniac masquerade under the guise of a conservative analyst to spew disproven revisionist history MAGA misinformation.
We love you. You're very special.
But multiple instances of incessant platforming and pathetic pushback against their conservative pundits that frankly plays like its own insurrection against what legacy media used to be.
And anyway, the person who sits here is but the most conspicuous member of a superb team of journalists, writers, reporters, editors, producers, and none of that will change.
Now, the first, but certainly not the worst example of what I'm talking about here is from this segment with CNN's Jim Acosta, where he clashes with GOP analyst Brad Todd after asking potentially one of the stupidest questions I've ever heard a journalist that wasn't on Fox or Newsmax ask in my life. And before we jump into this insanity, just a quick reminder that if you enjoy this video and what we do here at Really American, dropping a like and subscribing is a huge free way to help out and support the channel, and we greatly appreciate it.
Brad, is it time for Donald Trump to apologize for what took place 4 years ago?
I wouldn't expect Donald Trump would apologize. I think nor do I expect Democrats to apologize for trying to undo his presidency by all legal and extra legal means after that.
Come on, Brad. Come on.
No, Jim, look at our own polling. Look at CNN's own exit polling.
Congratulations, Jim Acosta. You activated the conservatives' trap card.
You triggered my trap card!
Of ask stupid questions, get stupid answers.
Voters who said they voted on democracy were evenly split between Democrats and Republicans. January 6th was a dark day in the history of our country. Donald Trump bears a lot of responsibility for that. It's something that should stain his legacy forever. However, voters, they punished him for it. That's why he was behind Ron DeSantis by 20 points. And once voters decided that Democrats were determined to prevent Donald Trump from being elected by any extra legal means, they decided maybe this wasn't as clear.
I mean, shouldn't your party have just rejected him, just flat out rejected him? How could your party let him be the nominee again?
Nancy Pelosi decided to use January 6th for partisan gain, though. She appointed. She refused to let Kevin McCarthy appoint Republicans to the committee. She didn't let Republicans hire staff to the January 6th Oversight Committee.
So I understand the concept of bringing in contradicting opinions to at least appear fair in your reporting. But when both of your hosts have to sit there and tell the commentator/analyst that's not true, you are spreading demonstrable falsehoods, and your opinion doesn't matter because the facts don't support what you're saying, how is that reported? Where is the journalistic integrity in that? And how am I, as the viewer, supposed to see this as anything other than like polite political Jerry Springer?
Jerry, can you move this for me?
Move the food?
Yeah, please.
This isn't news. This is fodder. The only thing that Brad Todd is correct about there is pointing out the fact that MAGA conservatives don't give a about any of the criminal, anti-American, treasonous behavior of Donald Trump, and that in fact, they give less over time because their singular brain cell apparently gives them the memory of a frickin' goldfish.
Let's make fishing great again, okay?
But probably most humiliating / dystopian of all was this show heated debate that led to CNN conservative analyst Scott Jennings eventually being rightfully told to shut his blabbering facehole.
But to me, the big message is that in the United States, the people decide. And because of the disastrous 4 years that came after Donald Trump, the people decided to return Donald Trump to power. And that's fundamentally what happened. They looked at what happened on January the 6th. They looked at all the things Democrats claimed about Donald Trump, and they also analyzed every single decision that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made, and they delivered Donald Trump a convincing victory 4 years later.
It is tough, though, Scott, because when you say the people decide, that's what people tried to make sure didn't happen on January 6th, was allowing the people to decide.
That is the face of a man who clearly has no understanding of irony.
What happened that day?
The
machinery turned. Joe Biden became the president. He had one of the worst terms of any U.S. president, and then the people scrambled back to Donald Trump. That is the history of what happened.
Democrats lost the election. Nobody's arguing that. I mean, that's what the argument was 4 years ago when Donald Trump was filing lawsuits and they were raiding the White House. What we are saying, though, is that prices are going down. What I am saying is murder rates.
Going down.
They actually are going down.
Inflation is still
plateauing.
It is decreasing in rate, which is the entire goal.
But
of
are
the
prices
Federal
going
Reserve.
down or not? Just to be clear. No, they're not.
They
going
are down
and
from their sky high rates.
Yeah, actually,
No.
Let's move on. Next up for
we were just arguing over combat zones. I don't know where we are this morning.
You can argue with
you guys are trying to paint a picture of a country that doesn't exist.
I'm not painting anything. I'm painting. Stop talking.
Like, this is what legacy media has come to, where the summation of journalistic integrity is telling your lying conservative colleague to, quote, zip it after he's been spewing nonsense for a solid 3 minutes? Like, why are you platforming this? No conservative is watching CNN for their fair and unbiased reporting to get the full picture. They're on Rumble and One American News, watching Matt Gaetz' plastic face drone on about conservative moral values after railing a party favor in the bathroom that he had left over from the high school party he attended last night. Shit off the news, dude. Like, January 6th was 4 years ago, and no one gives half a fuck about it anymore because you people have botched the coverage and the media landscape so bad that the exact people, MAGA, who need to hear the truth about this stuff won't hear it from you because they're already on Rumble, and B, you treat both sides as if they're logically and intellectually the same, and C, you just let people come on and spew their opinions as if that defines objective reality.
But of course, Donald Trump won the presidency, and part of the reason why was because views on Trump completely shifted, including Trump's role on January 6, 2021, should make him ineligible for the presidency. By 2023, 2024, it was just 47%. This is an 11-point drop, very much mirroring that drop that we saw that the folks said that, of course, would make him ineligible for the presidency. So that is part of the reason why, right? Fewer folks thought he was responsible, greatly responsible for what happened on January 6th. But it's not just that. It's that people simply put didn't care as much about the attack. So the bottom line is fewer Americans faulted Donald Trump or thought he was greatly responsible for the January 6th attack. And more than that, as it went into the rearview mirror, far fewer folks thought that it was their number one memory.
Yeah, and this is an extraordinary number.
No, that's not. That's not an extraordinary number at all. It's dystopian, it's sad, it's despicable, it's disgusting. It's somewhat interesting from a statistical standpoint. This is on the whole just shameful reporting across the board, almost on par with the level of intellectual dishonesty as Fox News. And if you agree with that and you're sick of seeing this kind of crap on TV, and you haven't already, then consider making the switch over to more independent media sources, like Really American. Yes, all of us that do this political commentary, we use clips from these TV shows because they have the resources to fact check, to search, to get all this information. But unlike them, independent media here on YouTube, we are not beholden to corporate interests, beholden to ratings, and we don't have to bring on liars from the far right to balance things out for our board members or skew ourselves to the bird brains who watch Fox News so we can expand our viewership. All that to say, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you got something out of this video, consider dropping a like and subscribing to the Really American channel. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you guys in the next one.